I am not Chris Metzen. I'm a little taller. My nose is bigger. That's how they tell us apart at work.
It seems it has finally come to this. Deep in the hollowed vaults below Blizzard HQ, Chris Metzen and Matthew Morhaime turn both of their keys to open the secret vault containing the script and design document for World of Warcraft Legion. That's kind of the impression that I got, at least. This seems like a very fan-servicey expansion, and their announcement of it comes at a very opportune moment where they have reached their lowest subscriber count in around 10 years, about 5 or so million. But we got the announcement on Thursday, and we've had a little bit of time to settle in and think, and some questions have been asked and answered. So here's my first impressions of the idea of Legion, and also what I'd like to see from it. In case you've managed to avoid the internet entirely for the last couple days, I'll just do a quick summary of what happened.
Demon hunters, of course. Be a metamorphosized demon hunter.
The fabled artifacts.
Broken Isles.
Well, through Illidan's eyes, this is the biggest demonic invasion of Azeroth ever, thanks to Gul'dan.
But let's start with the story. So it looks like the Burning Legion has finally arrived on Azeroth, thanks to alternate universe Gul'dan, who we accidentally released in the last expansion, coming to our universe to release a Burning Legion upon our Azeroth from You know what, at this point, if you're still trying to follow Warcraft lore, what the fuck? I imagine somewhere Noble87 is literally losing his mind. But I have a bit of a running theory based on what we saw at the announcement that kind of makes the story a little bit interesting. It's something that might actually manage to draw me back. They're doing something that I've kind of advocated for a while, and finally putting the players in the more of a driver's seat of the story. Because up until now, you've really been at the behest of people like Green Jesus, where you're completing quests on their behalf and fighting enemies on their behalf, but they're really driving any story advancement. But at this point, I think that our good friends Tyrion, Thrall, Jaina, and all the other big major characters are dead, or at very least severely incapacitated. So this theory comes to my mind for 3 reasons, actually. Number 1 is the class hubs and class holes. Now you're described as the class leader.
And of course they look to you as their leader.
Of these classes, where previously a major lore characters kind of held that position. Someone like Jaina being the class leader of the mages, and Thrall being the class leader of the shaman. Now you are suddenly the class leader of your class. That strikes me as a little bit odd, being that you're replacing major lore characters. Number 2 comes from artifact weapons.
Paladin, you'll be returning to the location of the Broken Shore to find and seek out Ashbringer, where it fell in battle and was lost.
Suddenly we're wielding fucking Doomhammer. I don't think Thrall is going to willingly give over Doomhammer to a bunch of heroes, you know, if he had the choice, something that's kind of been with him his entire life and really defined him as a character. And number 3 comes from literally their description of the opening event.
Is every single person in this room that has played WoW in the last 5 to 10 years is going to be really, really surprised and shocked. 100% sure on that one. Is that right? I'm sure I'll get a lot of hate from Twitter on that.
They say that we'll be angry or shocked, and that this is going to change a lot of the way we view a lot of the storytelling. And that's awesome, actually. So how does this affect the game? This puts the players more in the driver's seat, which could potentially be much more engaging from a storyline perspective, which is something that might be good, and might create a more long-term, long-lasting bond. Even in single-player games like Skyrim, where you can kind of feel like you're driving the events, even if you're still doing the same kind of quest, it feels more powerful to you. That's what makes Guild Wars 2's questing so much fun, because you are kind of driving it. You're not listening to some other dude tell you to do this. Even if you are still listening to some other good dude telling you to do this. All of that said, that all is entirely speculation based on what somebody said on a stage at Gamescom. In the end, it could be completely different. We could get them for some other weird, legitimate reason. Maybe it's alternate universe Doomhammer. Maybe it's some other contrived bullshit plot device. Who knows? The only thing I'd really like to see out of Dungeons and Raids is to have the raids actually release on launch. So you've got two raids announced right now, Emerald Dream and Suramar, with 17 bosses total. Have both of these raids available, even if you tier them on top of each other, on launch. You can put off LFR and Mythic like you had before, but have these both available, because when you just kind of hold off on Blackrock bullshit, like you did last expansion, it just feels like you're cock-blocking us, and we get bored of one of these dungeons and want to move forward. But we can't because you're putting an arbitrary block in the way. Don't do that. That's stupid. That makes me bored and angry. And I don't like being bored or angry, and both at the same time is not okay. Alternatively, if you want us to stop chewing through your raid content so goddamn quickly, consider making more of it. Quantity of raids would go a long way towards keeping people engaged. In Mist of Pandaria, you released 3 raids at launch, and they were tiered, and they were really good. And they kept people generally engaged for a good amount of time. And that's good. That's a good way. That's the way we should be doing it every patch. 2 raid tiers right on launch means more time for that stuff. And now that you're not designing new weapon models, maybe your art teams can have a little bit more fun making more raids. I just want to congratulate Blizzard on taking that whole artifact weapons idea from Final Fantasy XIV. Good job, I believed in you. The last thing I'd really like to see in Legion are more goals outside of raiding and endgame kind of dungeoning and stuff like that. The idea that you'd be doing dungeons throughout the entire expansion is really cool, and I think mythic dungeons are a way to do that. Maybe even a scaling mythic dungeon that scales to the current raid content would be really cool. But also stuff like reputation factions that are meaningful and have maybe tiered reputation factions that allow you to kind of build up to really cool vanity rewards, like the old Netherwing shit. That was awesome. That was really cool. And I would like to be able to spend all of my goddamn time playing this game again, but I just can't with the current release, so more side stuff would be awesome. All in all, Legion is intriguing me. It's actually legitimately intriguing me, and I don't usually get this optimistic about World of Warcraft expansions. I wasn't this optimistic about Warlords of Draenor, and I really wasn't this optimistic about Mists of Pandaria, but I can see some actual interesting things coming from this expansion, so long as they maybe do something different. Yeah. In the worst case scenario, there's always Wildstar. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little video on Legion and what I would like to see from it, and some of the theories I have about it. There's something I thought of doing kind of impromptu, you know. I'm trying to do that a little bit more often, have more content on the channel, because about 2 videos a week is not really that much, and now I have more time to make them. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, I would love to hear from you in the comments. It's always great to hear from you guys. Otherwise, like, subscribe, all that, you know, usual YouTube stuff that you have to melt out. Thank you very much, and you all have a great one. God damn it, the islands are broken. Son of a bitch. I hope somebody bought the warranty. Metzen, you got the warranty?